Los Angeles businesses are looted as the riots continue, while Congressional Democrats mourn the National Guard and Marines deployed to protect federal buildings. A district court judge rejects Governor Gavin Newsom's emergency motion to block Trump's federalization of the National Guard, and protests and riots spill over into other major U.S. cities. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Business owners were seen all over Los Angeles yesterday evening, boarding up windows and doors as they prepared for yet another riotous night. The previous night, there were multiple businesses looted, including jewelry stores which were completely ransacked, as well as Adidas shoe stores and the Apple store at Tower Theater. Notably, Apple dispatched a message to all of the iPhones, MacBooks, iPads, and other Apple paraphernalia that were taken, disabling the devices by putting on the screens, "Please return to Apple Tower Theater. This device has been disabled and is being tracked. Local authorities will be alerted." This was accompanied by a rather obnoxious siren sound as well as a high-pitched noise that is rather painful to hear. Of course, hearing this particular noise, a lot of the looters tossed these phones onto the sidewalk, which is why we have footage of them. In addition to the looting, there were also serious escalations in violence, including a pipe bomb set off on a major city street next to active vehicle traffic.
What the is that? Oh my God, they just blew the car.
As well as multiple reports of individuals part of the riots shooting at police and federal agents in Compton. Cases in which the California National Guard observed federal crimes taking place, the arrests were not exactly gentle.
Once we're done with this live shot right here, we're going to go head over that way. You see, it appears to be California National Guard. Ooh, they're taking somebody down right now.
Right.
I don't know if they saw. Yeah, I don't know who those guys are or what they did, but you can see that appears to be. Is that California National? If it says ERO on their back, that would be ICE. That stands for Enforcement and Removal Operation. I can't tell. It's some sort of law enforcement, and they clearly did not. Yeah, they clearly did not like what the guy in the yellow was doing right there, because they ran right at him and they took him down.
Democrat officials at the local, state, and federal level took to the cameras to plead for the federalization of the National Guard and intervention on behalf of federal law to end, not necessarily the riots themselves. Here's Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles saying exactly that.
This is a city of immigrants. If they're afraid to go to work, you are going to hit our economy in a way that is completely unnecessary. This is a problem that started on Friday morning when the raids happened. This did not need to take place.
Later, she did institute a curfew for the city of Los Angeles.
I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting.
On Capitol Hill, congressional officials for the Democrat Party made the interesting decision to suggest that the federalization of the National Guard was unnecessary, that if any individuals saw pictures or videos of burned out cars or major acts of violence like the pipe bomb or the domestic terrorism of the firebombing or perhaps the attempted murders of police officers, then former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi suggested that this might just be over-exuberance.
And I say this as a former party chair, when there is a gathering, a large gathering of people, the anarchists see it as an opportunity and they move in. So always have to be careful whether you see a burned car, a broken window, or whatever it is. It may be the exuberance of the moment, but it may be the anarchist setting in. I heard one of the former police chiefs of Los Angeles speak about this on Sunday.
Democrat Representative Norma Torres said much of the same, that this was all Trump's fault. He needed to recall the federal agents because that's who was causing the chaos.
And this must stop. The president must call back these ICE agents. They must retreat in order for the locals to be given the opportunity to restore order, because that is what we are demanding right now.
Now, I've reviewed a lot of footage from Los Angeles, and I have to tell you, I have not seen any federal agents from ICE or the Department of Homeland Security, the National Guard, or the U.S. Marines looting the Adidas or jewelry stores or Apple stores in Los Angeles. Representative Maxine Waters kicked it up a notch by suggesting that there was no violence at all.
The protests, and even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence.
Republican and House Speaker Representative Mike Johnson did respond to this a little bit later.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What is your reaction to Congresswoman Maxine Waters repeatedly saying that there has been no violence in the LA riots? And do you believe that Democrats are making a mistake by not talking about what's really going on here?
Clearly, the Democrats are making a mistake by taking the wrong side here, and I'm just going to, in my southern gentlemanly way, say bless her heart to Maxine Waters. I don't even know how to comment on Maxine Waters anymore. It's madness. I'm going to be charitable and leave it right there. Yeah.
Governor Gavin Newsom, who filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, namely President Trump, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and the Department of Defense, for what Newsom said was an illegal mobilization of the National Guard, filed an emergency motion in order to seek the temporary injunction or blocking of the National Guard from the authority of the Department of Defense, something we alluded to and predicted yesterday on the Top News in 10. United States District Judge Charles R. Breyer denied the motion request from the Gavin Newsom team, setting a hearing for Thursday, June 12th, to discuss the lawsuit in more detail. Quote, plaintiffs Gavin Newsom and the state of California filed an ex parte motion for a temporary restraining order at 11 a.m. on June 10th. Defendants Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, and the Department of Defense requested, quote, 24 hours from the time that plaintiffs file their motion for temporary restraining order to file a response brief, end quote. The defendant's request is granted. The opposition shall be due by 11 a.m. on Wednesday, June 11th, and then there will be a hearing on the plaintiff's motion in open court at 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. So Judge Breyer can, in fact, still rule in favor of Newsom and allow some type of temporary block to be put in place. In that situation, it would, in fact, be a constitutional crisis. But given the particular lawsuit from the Newsom administration, it's looking exceptionally unlikely given current U.S. law, current precedent, and the Article II authority of the United States Constitution. Immigration customs enforcement protests and riots have spilled over from Los Angeles into major cities in the rest of the country, including Santa Ana, San Francisco, Sacramento, Atlanta, Boston, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Portland, Denver, Las Vegas, St. Paul, Santa Fe, Louisville, Louisville, Baltimore, Memphis, Detroit, Oklahoma City, Minneapolis, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Chicago, New York City, Tampa, Seattle, Philadelphia, Atlanta, New Orleans, Aurora, Colorado, Columbus, and possibly many more over the next couple of days, planned mostly by union leadership for organizations like the SEIU as well as the National Education Association Teachers Union. So far, at least from the following clip in New York City, we haven't seen police and individuals on site as patient with those wearing the Palestinian keffiyeh and waving flags other than that of the United States in solidarity with the rioters in Los Angeles. This footage was sent over to us at about 10:30 from the post-millennial crew on the ground. You can see the police are throwing individuals who have assaulted officers right onto the ground. And boy, they are not happy, nor should they be. You can see the protesters, again turned rioters, because they are committing overt and direct violent and intimidating crime. The officers are not playing around. You can also see the New York Police Department pulling down the masks and the keffiyehs, the pro-Palestinian scarves, off of people's faces as they make the arrests. Check it out, here's another one. Goes, grabs the individual who violated the law as the others scatter, pulls down the mask, and begins processing. It turns out this may not be a winning issue for the Democratic Party. Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. And join us tonight at 7 p.m. for yet another massive night of news that very likely will have us adding things up until the time of air. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's Top News in 10. Take care.